That was amazing. The tool list for this project is pretty simple. You're gonna need a hacksaw, tape measure, marker, cordless drill, drill bits, tubeless bicycle tire stem, PVC primer, PVC cement, and of course, a roll of paper towels. Now for the PVC pieces. We have a 4-inch tube that measures 24 inches long. This is a 45-inch long section of 1.5-inch pipe, a 4-inch end cap, a 4-inch reducer that goes from 4 inches down to 2 inches, and that's a 1.5-inch ball joint. Make sure all your PVC pieces are Schedule 40 or Schedule 80 and that they're rated for pressure. Once you have all your parts measured and cut, I recommend taking some paper towels, ripping off a chunk, making it wet, and wiping down all your pieces. This would be a really good time to sand down any surfaces that you might plan on painting in the future, so you don't have to work around the edges later. Now it's time to build. We're gonna start the project off with the reservoir here. We're gonna take this little stem, this bicycle tubeless stem. We're gonna remove the cap, take off the little O-ring here, and we're gonna try and insert this into our reservoir. It has a little rubber grommet back here that's gonna help seal things off in your tube. And you wanna use about a 1/4-inch drill bit for this particular one, which I have linked down below. But always size your drill bit to whatever tubeless stem that you come up with. You wanna think ahead about how you're planning to use your bait cannon. Do you want to install the fill stem on the back of the cap or somewhere along the reservoir? I'm going to mount mine on the reservoir, so I'm going to go up a little bit past where the end cap's going to go, mark my spot, and drill my hole. And as we can see, that's a really nice fit for this stem. You're going to want to install this from the inside of your pipe. So it comes out the top so you can fill it, hold that in place, slide your O-ring down, that's going to help hold this in place, and then tighten down this nut somewhat tight. That's going to create a pressure point pulling that gasket into the back side of the reservoir. It's going to keep things nice and tightly sealed off and airtight for you. Next, we're going to install our end cap on our reservoir. You want to make sure this is nice and clean. Install the primer, install the PVC cement. Let's get that done. And then go ahead and install. Hold that down so it doesn't try and back out. And you want to hold it for a good 10, 20, maybe 30 seconds, and it should start to set up. Time to repeat that process on the other end. We're going to install our reducer. I'm going to go ahead and get both areas of this with the PVC primer. And then move on to the reservoir, get that coated real nice. Now it's time to glue that reducer onto the reservoir. Get a nice healthy glob of glue in there. Same thing on the end of the reservoir. Gas chamber, whatever you want to call it. Move quickly, you want to stick those together and press. All right, that's not going anywhere now. I am going to take a paper towel and just clean up any excess PVC cement that I can, because I do plan on painting this later. Okay, now it's time for the check valve. Think about how you want this in relation to your fill valve. I'm going to keep my fill valve pointing up or maybe to the side, so I'm going to have my check valve something like that. Now notice I did go to a 2-inch reducer, which fits the outside diameter of this pipe. So when you go to PVC primer and cement it, don't do the inside, do the outside of this, inside of that. So they can fit together very nicely, just like you can see here. And again, double check your position in relation to the fill valve, press it in and hold it. And that thing's never coming out. And that's about it for the build. Pump it up to pressure and launch that sucker. I'm psyched. Well, it's an exciting day. We're here ready to launch the bait cannon, but first let's talk about how I have the rod set up. The rod of choice while I'm launching this bait cannon, I don't really care about the length of it, I care more about the eyelets here. So I've elected to go with a big Cat Fever spinning rod. We've got some really big eyelets here. You could probably fit a couple fingers through there. The main reason I'm using that is there are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, as opposed to about 10 or 11 on a casting rod. And it's gonna be a lot less friction for this line as it comes screaming off the reel here. And the nice thing about a spinning reel is you can open the bail and just let it rip. I've also switched over from monofilament to about 50-pound braid, and that should help the casting distance on this thing and have as little resistance as possible. For the rig, I'm going with basically a single hook Kentucky rig. Got the weight on the bottom, a little branch leader coming off. I've used a lot of these Uncle Lou's silicone beads, as you can see here, just to try and keep things from tangling up together as it comes shooting out the end of the barrel. As a backing for my rig, I'm just taking a potato. I'm gonna cut a cross section of it here. And now we just need to whittle that down until it fits in the end of the barrel. So I'm gonna take the barrel right here and just start cutting chunks off until it fits. Once I've got that started in the barrel, I've got a little jam rod, almost like a musket loader. We're gonna push that down in the barrel as far as it'll go. All right, well, we've got this baby pumped up to 90 PSI. I'm gonna get my lovely assistant come hold the rod here. We're gonna launch this sucker out into the river. Here we go. How excited are you?
So excited.
That was amazing. Well, that was just as much fun as I thought it was going to be. This might be my new favorite fishing tool. So throw us a thumbs up if you like that. Subscribe to the channel because we were just testing this thing out today. We're going to be fishing for big old catfish here with it pretty soon. You might notice I have not painted this yet. Go down in the comments box, drop some ideas. We've got a blank canvas here. Tell me what you want to see this thing looking like. We are Green Machine, keep that in mind. Just because this video is over doesn't mean the fun has to stop here. Check out these videos down below. Catch you some more goobers while you wait for our next video to drop. Later.